Good morning. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Grace. It is lovely to have you here as always, and welcome to what is meant to be a cozy little day in my life kind of video, but has actually started as a bit of a chaotic morning. I got up and had a bit of a workout and tidied up a little bit around my writing space so that I could get my morning pages in for honestly the first time in a little while. I kind of got out of the habit of doing them, so I'm hoping I can get back in again. But halfway through doing my morning pages, my fridge started making a really weird noise and I went over to check it and it didn't look that cold inside as well, so I started to have a big panic about all our stuff getting ruined. But I think that it is okay now, fingers crossed. Ignore the ink on my hands. That is also another thing that happened. My gorgeous fountain pen, which does leak all over my fingers, but my brother got it for me. It's my favorite pen and it just broke while I was doing my morning pages. I'm gonna try and super glue it back together. Hopefully it'll be okay. But yeah, it's been an interesting start to the day. It is now about 20 past 11. I was hoping that I could get on with my day a little bit earlier, but obviously things have gotten in the way. But it's okay, it's all right. Breathe. I finished my morning pages. This is a very chilled day. I'm hoping that I can get a little bit of writing done later. I have an idea for a writing exercise I'd really like to try. If you saw my last writing vlog, then you know that I am a lapsed writer, shall we say. I grew up writing, it was always what I wanted to do. I went to uni to study creative writing, but I've really struggled in recent years with my writing and I'm hoping to get back into it, or at least to see if that is still what I want to be doing with my life. And one of the things that I've struggled with recently has been general perfectionism, but a part of my perfectionism manifests as me assuming I need to immediately write a novel. If I get back into writing, I need to immediately go for a giant project, get it published, get out there, which is obviously not a realistic goal at all. I think part of it stems from having grown up as a writer. I set myself some like arbitrary goals of wanting to be published by 25 or something, which looking back is wild. That will not be occurring. And also I just changed jobs, so this isn't necessarily relevant right now, but in my last job I wasn't that happy and part of me wanted to get out of that situation by writing a best-selling novel, which all of the sensible parts of me knew was just not a thing that was gonna happen. But the perfectionist part of me was thinking, well, if you're not going to immediately write a really successful novel, what's the point in writing at all? Which is stupid. So I want to allow myself to ease back in, because like any skill that you haven't practiced in quite some time, you're not going to be immediately as good as you used to be if you pick it back up. You need to retrain those muscles. So I need to be gentle with myself and allow myself to go through that phase of difficulty and writing not coming that easily to me at the moment. And I'm hoping that working on some little writing exercises that don't really need to go anywhere might help me to allow myself to work through those things. So that's the plan for the day. It's gonna be a very chill, cozy time, I hope. But I'm pretty hungry right now and I need to go and grab a few things to make my lunch. And it's just turned a little bit sunny, so I might have a little bit of a wander and hopefully refuel that well to be able to get some writing done after lunch. Hello, I've just finished lunch and it is about 5 to 1, I think. That meal does not look appetizing, but I swear it's tasty. I want to tell you about the audiobook that I am listening to right now, that I've been listening to for a good chunk of the morning. I am listening to Out of Love by Hazel Hayes. It is a breakup story told in reverse, so from the point of breakup backwards to the beginning of the relationship. And it's a very interesting format. I'm really enjoying it, but I don't know if any of you guys had that 2014-15 YouTube phase of watching Dodie and Daniel J. Layton and Hazel Hayes. So Hazel Hayes, the author of this book, actually was and still kind of is a YouTuber, but she used to post a lot of vlogs back in the day. She used to do the series called Time of the Month, where she'd do a monthly video and it would explore really what she was going through in her life. They were quite personal, and I used to watch those religiously. I found them really comforting as like a teen. And I got this book years ago, but I put off reading it for a while, maybe because I knew it was going to be really sad. And now that I am reading it, it's a bit of a strange experience, because this is technically a novel, okay? It's a work of fiction. But as someone who watched a lot of Hazel's quite personal content back in the day, I'm recognizing a lot of this story from her real life. It's not all the same, the names are changed, and I'm sure that some events are different, but there are quite a few specific moments that she's told stories of before that are featured almost exactly the same in this book. And also the way that it's written honestly feels more like a memoir than a novel. The writing style feels a lot more personal and like it's someone telling their own story. So it is an odd one. That took me a minute to grapple with, but I think now I'm sort of reading it as if it was a memoir. I don't know how much of it is based on reality, but I think that it is a more enjoyable read if you read it as if it's a memoir. And in that sense, I am really enjoying it. I'm finding it quite gripping, and the emotional descriptions really interesting, and the way that it talks about mental health is really interesting. I'm curious what it would be like if you were reading it as someone who did not know the author at all and had no prior knowledge of her, if you would be able to get that feeling from it, or if it would just feel like a normal novel. But anyway, that's just my current reading update. We're gonna try to get some writing done now. One thing that I've been thinking about recently is that I used to listen to music in quite a different way to how I do now, and I promise this will become relevant. I used to properly sit down if I was listening to a new song and read the lyrics, let myself be enveloped in the world that that sound was creating, and feel whatever feelings it was trying to bring out in me. And I used to make so many playlists. I would make a monthly playlist and find songs that captured how I was feeling throughout the month as sort of a musical scrapbook. And I've gotten out of the habit of doing that. I still listen to music, but a lot less intentionally. And I wonder if this could be linked to my writing. In the past, I've definitely had a lot of pieces of writing that have been inspired by music or the way that I listen to music. One time I wrote a story about the AI behind the Spotify Discover Weekly playlist and tried to characterize the AI as these mythical beings that could see inside of you and understand what music you needed to hear. And also I've been thinking about writing recently in the sense that when I used to write more regularly, I think I was a lot more in touch with my emotions and a bit better at understanding them and letting myself feel them. So even from just a therapy perspective, I think that getting back into that practice of, if I'm feeling a big emotion, my instinct being to write about it would probably be quite healthy for me. That's always been something that I've found useful in the past, and it's something that I've kind of cut myself off from in recent years. So combining all of those thoughts, I've had an idea for a writing exercise that I could try, which is to put my entire Spotify catalogue, which is very large and full of weird songs, just on shuffle, and to try to write something inspired by whatever song comes up. Now, there are a few more rules to this. Each song that I try, I'm going to allow myself one skip, one redo, in case the first song that comes up is just a no-go and I'm not feeling inspired by it at all. But I have to stick with that second one, so I've got to weigh up if I think I can make a song work or not. And then once I've picked a song, I listen to it through once without writing at all, just listen and take it in. And then I listen to it 3 more times while writing, and that is my time limit. And I'm not putting any limits on what type of writing I'm gonna do in this space, if I'm just gonna write about my own feelings like a journal, or if I'm gonna come up with a work of fiction or just describe something. Who knows? We'll see. I'm just gonna, whatever I feel inspired to do by the song that comes up, I'll give it a go. So I'm gonna go grab my laptop and I'll be back. Okay, we are ready to go. Also, I hope you enjoy Chris's Star Wars diorama in the background here. So there are, sorry if I yell at you with these giant headphones on, by the way, but I have 7,971 songs liked on Spotify, and we're just gonna shuffle them all, so let's go. Okay, we have gay off the bat. Do I want to write to this? You know what? I think I can do it. I think I could write something fun from that. It's not a very long song, so 3 times is gonna be less than 9 minutes. But yeah, we'll give it a try. Also, I do not have a desk. Our flat is too small for me to fit the desk that my parents are holding on to into. I would love to move to a place that had room for me to put my desk in. But for now, we just have back problems. Let's get going. Okay, I'm done. I honestly could have written for a little bit more. It felt like quite a short burst and I was kind of getting into it, which is nice. That's rare for me these days. But I'm gonna pause for now and follow my own rules that I've made up and try another one. So yeah, we're gonna shuffle again and have another go. Ooh, I don't think I've listened to the song for years. Okay, I'm gonna listen. I don't think I'm feeling this one right now. That's a bit too angsty. Okay, I'm gonna pull the second chance card. I'm scared. Ooh, also a throwback. Different vibe. Okay, that one's feeling a little bit tougher, but I think we can give it a go. So we're going with a classic Lily Allen track. Round 2 done. I think it is getting easier, which makes me feel silly because of course it is. Of course it gets easier when you practice something, it gets easier. That's the whole point. But of course my brain keeps telling me that it will never get easier, so I avoid doing it until times like these. Okay, we're gonna go for a 3rd round and then we'll see how we're feeling. So let's see what song we get this time. It's a banger. I don't know if it's one that I would have picked out, but I think I could make it work. We'll give it a try. Okay, 3rd one done. So far these have all been little story snippets that have come to me, usually based at least somewhat on the narrative of whatever song I've been listening to. That one was a lot more setting inspired. This song really evokes some kind of chaotic, not quite club, Somewhere between a really wild club and the vibe of the night circus is what this song gives me, and that's what I've been trying to pin down here, just for a little bit of insight. I'm having fun. I would recommend this if you are a writer in need of some kind of creative exercise and you find that music is quite an inspiration for you. This is good fun so far. I'm gonna pause on the shuffling there. There's one particular song that I've been listening to a lot recently and I feel like I relate to quite a lot. And I think I'm gonna just put that one on in the background for a while and do some writing and see if that inspires something, and maybe it will inspire something a little bit more personal. The song is My Ego Dies at the End by Jensen McRae, and it is so beautiful. I would highly recommend you listen to some of Jensen McRae's stuff. Her lyrics are so interesting. I relate to quite a lot of it in different ways, but there's one lyric that says, "If I don't write about it, was it really worth it?" Which I relate to on several levels. One of them being this emotional connection that writing gives me, in the sense that if I didn't write about something, was I fully experiencing it? But also in the sense of my perfectionism saying, if I didn't write about it, what's the point if I'm not writing? What am I doing? This need to have one particular purpose doesn't really make any sense. If I like writing, then write, go for it. But it's not the reason I exist, and that's something I've been trying to untrain my brain from thinking. I'll stop oversharing now and do some writing. Okay, I think we're gonna pause writing for a little bit. That last burst, I did a little bit of poetry for the first time in a while. So that was fun. I don't think it was very good, but it was fun. I was very into poetry as a teenager, and I did write some while I was at university. I got on really well with one of my poetry lecturers, and I do find when I want to write something personal, sometimes the thing that comes to me first is in a poetry format, maybe because you can be a little bit more abstract in the way you describe your feelings, which is often how they are internally, I find at least. It is now about 4 o'clock. Now, was I writing for that whole time? Honestly, no. I did get a little bit distracted in the middle, as I want to do, but it's okay. We're being kind to ourselves. And that is still a lot more writing than I have gotten done in quite some time, because it's been such a big mental block for me. Any progress is good progress. Also, just for some context, I do have a job. I know I've mentioned it before, but I work part-time and this is one of my days off, so that is why I'm able to have days like this. And I do realize that I am incredibly lucky to be in that position where I don't have to work full-time currently. Don't get me wrong, we're not we're not rolling in it, but I know that a lot of people just haven't got that option at all. I was full-time at one point, and honestly the reason I changed was more of a mental health thing than a creative focus kind of thing, but I am now trying to spin it in that direction. But I just wanted to put that out there, that I know that this is not an opportunity that everyone gets, to be this gentle and patient with themselves when working through a creative block like this. Some people just don't have the time or energy because they have to work all the time, and trying to get over burnout or get back into something creative after working a full-time day or cramming it in on the weekends is a lot more difficult than having specific days off that you can use to focus on that. So I just wanted to acknowledge that. But I'm hoping I might get a little bit more writing done later, but for now I think I'm gonna take a break and just read for a little bit. I won't tell you about the book I'm reading because I'm actually filming another video about it that will probably be out in a little while yet. I have quite a bit more to read for that video, but I guess you're gonna get a little bit of a hint about what that video might be. It is now 5:20. I'm gonna do a little bit more writing and then I think I will sign off for the day because some of our friends have actually just asked us to go out for drinks with them tonight. So I'm just gonna get one more sprint in and I'm not gonna put any requirements on this one. I'm just gonna write whatever it is that I'm feeling and then I will let you know how many words I'm on total when I'm done. Okay, I'm done with another little sprint. I wrote 2 separate little pieces. I say pieces, none of these are even close to finished pieces. They're just little hints of thoughts that I've just let myself run away with for a minute. I don't know if any of them will ever go anywhere. Maybe I will find them useful as inspiration for larger pieces in the future, but that's not really the point right now. It's just to get some words down and to practice. And I do already feel like I can feel those muscles working again in my brain. And I ended up writing 1,300 words. And it definitely wasn't the best 1,300 words I've ever written, but I think it did get better as I went on. And in the grand scheme of things, that's not a lot. But for me right now, I'm pretty pleased with that. It's breaking that surface tension, really, getting that momentum going and proving to myself that I can do it. That it is not something that has completely escaped my reach. I remember even as a little kid loving describing things and especially settings. There's something about describing a forest or a misty glade, something that draws you into a different world that always hooks me. So maybe if I do end up doing a bigger project at some point, it will be based in that, in a wish to create a setting that you can really feel. But for now, I'm trying not to overthink it. I'm trying to let it just be what it is and enjoy writing words, which I think I did today. Tentatively, I'm gonna say that for the first time in probably a while. I think I did just enjoy myself. But yeah, I'm gonna go hang out with some of Chris and I's friends now for a bit. So it has been lovely to spend the day with you. I hope you've also had a lovely cozy day yourself. And thank you very much for hanging out with me and for watching. And I will see you in another video very soon. Bye-bye.